Hello and welcome to TIP International Radio. I'm your host, Leah Maston. We are showcasing prestigious top professionals from all industries all over the globe to share their experience and stories of success. Joining us today from Canada is an honored member of the International Association of Top Professionals, IAOTP, who is also the owner and CEO of Vilde Enterprises. Please welcome Mr. Hessel Kielstra. Hi, Hessel. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me Leah.
It's my pleasure. I'm really looking forward to it. Hessel, tell me about Vilde Enterprises and how did you get started?
That's a long story. It started many years ago. It was a second company we had, which is in the Vilde Group, and it all started with the death of my father when I was 18. So then he had a small dairy farm, and I was in university, and there were 6 boys, and we took over the farm and then just worked from there into various enterprises over the different years because we couldn't all live next to each other on one spot. We were real people. We were aged between 8, the youngest was, and the oldest was 22. I'm third in line of the children. And yeah, that's how it got started. And then as different opportunities came, we would jump on them and diversified over the years.
It's impressive how successful you've been with Vilde over the years. Hessel, having over 40 years as a seasoned and international business leader and trusted CEO, what is some advice you would give to someone just starting out?
Have a lot of passion. Be passionate about what you do. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. And never think that you have to be in an organization that you must be the highest paid, because then you usually don't succeed, especially as you start. It's just, you're going to make sacrifices. Yeah. And that's where the passion sets in. If you're passionate about it, you'll make sacrifices. And then it works. And hours you don't count.
That's some great advice. Tell me, Hessel, was running the family business always what you had envisioned for yourself, or did you originally have a different career path?
I was planning to be a lawyer. And then with the death of my father, that sort of changes it a bit. And when I was at the University of British Columbia, I was talking to somebody that came out of a family of bankers and lawyers. And he said, getting to know you a little bit, why in the world would you want to be a lawyer? Because all you got to do is go back to the different statutes. And he said, if you want to be entrepreneurial and creative, you can hire the best lawyers. Don't be one.
Right.
That kind of changes my mind.
For sure. Hessel, you are very active in your community, including 2 terms as an alderman for the city of Abbotsford, sitting on numerous boards, president of several private companies, and chair of the board of Dordt College. Tell me, how do you find time to balance running these businesses, staying active in your community, and being a family man?
Well, it's not an easy balance. Sometimes that can be frustrating. But if the country, the community has been good to you, I believe you chip in and you just offer yourself for these different services, and you learn a lot from it. So there's just the benefit of having something else besides just your business that you're doing. I just find that in itself balances life better. But one of the prices you pay is you don't always have enough time for family. So there's different things you do is you dedicate your time. I always promised my family as they grew up, I'd be home on Sundays for them. I'd be there for weekends. And I basically could hold to that. So it made for some interesting times of flying back home late on a Saturday night or whatever. But that was my commitment to them, so I'd always be there. And that's kind of how I figured it out, how to balance it and make it work.
Well, you're definitely getting that balance in no matter what. Throughout your illustrious career, you have won numerous awards and have been recognized on an international level. This past year, honored at IAOTP's annual award gala at the Plaza Hotel in New York City for the Business Innovator of the Year award and Top CEO of the Year. What would you say has been the highlight of your career or most memorable experience that you've had to date?
That one's really hard to pin down because there's been a lot of different experiences that happened. Probably I would have to go back to, one of the highlights when I started is my father passed away and there was taxes to pay and everything else. And I had it upon my heart that we needed to expand right away and we needed money to do that. So I went to an institution called Farm Credit Corporation when I was with my younger brother spending a few days on vacation. And I said, we got to go and talk to somebody about lending us some money. And so we went to this farm credit organization, and my brother thought I was crazy, but I remember going to the door and standing in front of it, just should I, shouldn't I? But I decided to go in, and it was lunchtime, so the receptionist says, you're out of luck, there's no loans officers here, unless you want to see the British Columbia president of our organization. I said, well, I'm here, so I'll talk to him. So by the time we were finished 2 hours later, I had convinced him, or however it worked, to give us a $100,000 loan for expansion. I found out years later that was the first time they'd ever given a $100,000 loan
Oh my gosh.
through that organization, and he did that to an 18-year-old that wasn't old enough to sign it. What it did is it gave me a great deal of confidence in the business community, and the people that are supposed to be scary weren't scary. They'll embrace you. So it took a bit of guts. But the other thing is, it took naivety from the point of view that as an 18-year-old, you're not always paying attention to all protocols. So the reason I got it was because I was there at lunchtime. Normally you don't do things like that as you get older. You wouldn't go at 12:15 to find somebody. But so I was rewarded for being a little bit naive, dumb, whatever you want to say. And but he was available. So.
Yeah, and that courage paid off. Man, what a why in the road that took, huh?
Well, yeah, and that set us off, and as brothers, we really benefited from that. So I'd say that was one of the highlights of a career. I mean, there's lots of them, but
definitely
that was just the one that really kicked it off.
Right.
Because of the confidence it gives you, especially if you're, I was a little shy immigrant kid, so that was just interesting.
I love that story. Hessel, looking back, what would you say you attribute your success to?
My success, a lot of it comes about, I came from a family that was, and I was with driven siblings that we were looking forward to it. So collectively, it took the different skill sets of everyone that was involved, and I'm very grateful to them, and we always stuck together over many years, and yeah, there was a big payoff because of that. But the other thing is my marriage to my dear wife. She's always been very supportive, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without her because of the positive influence and the encouragement that you get along the way. So,
definitely.
Yeah, it's just a number of those factors come into it, and that's definitely why it worked. And the other thing is I was taught when I was young, or through the years, that there is no really a thing called such as failure, because things don't always go your way, and if anybody says they ran a business without any setbacks, they're lying.
Right.
So you just see it as, it happened, next, and you try to fix it. And in my experience over the years, I use this expression that out of the ashes, there's always a silver lining. So if something doesn't go right, you just kind of sit back and sort of say, okay, what opportunity lies within this thing that just happened? And usually you can find something positive that comes out of it.
That's a great way to
then you build from there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not personal failure in it. There's just personal learning.
Definitely. That's a great way to look at it. Hessel, what's next for you within the next 5 years?
Over the next 5 years, well, there's a lot of things I hope to be able to accomplish if I have good health and everything else. As to the corporate business, I hope to morph more into a senior statesman or get my fingers out of more of the details and just help to innovate and create opportunities and hopefully use the visionary gifts I have to move the whole family business forward. So that's from a business point of view. From a personal satisfaction point of view, I'm looking forward to some new appointments that are coming to me. One is I've been appointed to a board called Partners Worldwide, and it fulfills a passion I have for the poor, because the organization does a lot of work in Africa, where they do small business loans to mostly ladies, because they happen to be the most responsible there, and it helps many of them come out of poverty with dignity. Instead of being handed money, they earn a living, and it changes the whole attitude that these people have. So I'm excited about that.
Definitely.
And then the other thing is I'm also being appointed to a seminary board called Calvin Theological Seminary. I've been on that board once before, and I have a passion for my Christian faith and what it does in this world and for people. And in the seminary, they're training pastors and lay people how to speak into people's lives. And that is something I really look forward to. So those are kind of, some of that's the personal thing. And then last but not least, I just plain want to show hope and love and kindness to my family, because I value my immediate family and my extended family. They've been a big part of my life, and I hope somewhere is to leave a legacy that life has been good and that they can continue to enjoy life to the fullest.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited to see everything that you'll be up to over the next few years on all of those different levels. And I just want to thank you so much for chatting with me and sharing a little bit about your story.
Well, we're definitely excited to see more from you over the next few years. Hessel, I just want to thank you so much for joining us today. We are really so honored to have you as a guest.
It's a pleasure.
It's my honor. Thank you again. And please, for more information on Hessel, you can visit his websites at hesselkielstra.com and vildeenterprises.ca.